Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm Sunshine. This is the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cubes. We go through step by step on the weekday mornings. This is Formula A. This is Formula B. It will solve every size Rubik's Cube. It does not work on shapeshifters or like square one, pyraminx, those kinds of things. But it works on every n by n by n cube. Every cube. Formula A, Formula B, that's it. Yesterday was Monday. We did the corners, which on a 2x2 is all you can do, and which on every other cube dictates what color is going to be on that face of the cube. So the 8 corners are correct to each other. We did that using Formula A. Formula A is 4 moves. Bottom row, right side, moves a piece to the top that you want it to move to. To demonstrate, bottom row, right column, out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up from the perspective of this cube. Out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up. Rotates switches these cubes and twists them. A run rotation, and 6 of them get you back to start. So anything less than 6 is going to have an effect. Formula B, it moves 3 pieces around. Hi! Formula B, good morning, GTAY 5 fighter. How are you today? So I did the corners. The corners set up what everything's going to be. Now Formula B, Formula B moved the corners where we wanted it to be. Formula B will move any 3 pieces we want them to move. And so if instead of using the outside columns, which moves the corners, if we use an outside and inside, it's going to move a piece from the top front to the front side, depending on which direction you move it in. I'm good, how are you? I am good. I just got my hair done again yesterday. So I'm purple again, and it faded to red. But so that was fun. That's always fun. And it's the 4th of July. Look at you guys. Want to see what I did? Okay. I've been playing with my cubes. Whoops, wait a minute. Where's my other one? I've been playing with my cubes. I've got and for the 4th of July, I did red, white, and blue are correct. And everything else is random. Like fireworks, and for the 4th of July, you can do this. You can make your red, white, and blue stripes. Add the field of blue, and happy 4th of July. We've got a flag. You can do that again. Oops, wait a minute. Here we go. Here we go. Red, white, and blue. The red and white stripes. Bring your field of blue, and there you go. Let's see. Doesn't really work on the even numbers. So anyway, ta-da! Have fun with that. Hello, Fish Talons. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. So there's your happy 4th of July. Let me redo that. Let me get this back put together. There we go. All right, so that's fun. All right, now what was I talking about? Oh yeah, let me fix this one too. Okay, so that's fun. I will work on that later. So corners, we did the corners, and that tells us what we're working on. Okay, for the side corner, for using Formula B, for the edges, I've been training myself for the corners to look for white and yellow, so I'm going to keep looking for the white and yellow. So I'm going to hold the cube so that white and yellow and white are left and right. It doesn't matter which way, as long as yellow and white are left and right. And then we find a piece in the middle-ish area, any edge piece that has yellow or white, we go ahead and we just place that directly. And we don't have to pair them up. I don't have to waste time saying, here's my white green, where's my other white green, and then putting them together and then placing them. In my brain, that takes more time and energy than just finding a piece, throwing it where it belongs, and letting it match itself up as it does. So here's a green and white, yellow and white are left and right. So formula B is still top row, 2 columns, and the 2 columns are are dictated by what cube you want to place. So this cube, I'm applying it to this cube. It's green and white. White's on top. I've moved the corners to match the front, and so it's going in the white direction, so not to the yellow side, but to the white side. And I move it so the columns are where it wants to end up, which is the first column. This is the first column, and where it is to begin with, which is the second column. So I'm going to do formula B with this column and this column. So I move it away, first up, back, second up, away, down, back, second down. That cube is placed, and here's another one. Hold it so your yellow or white is on top. Bring the corners together to match the front. Determine its direction, so it's going in the white direction. Away, first up, back, second up, away, down, back, second down. And we do that for as long as there is a yellow or white edge anywhere in my middle area to be moved to the outside. Here's a white. Bring the corners to match the front, determine its direction, and move it away. First up, back, second up, reverse, down, back, down. As you notice, if you look at the formula B, every other move is horizontal, and every horizontal is the reverse of the one that went before it. And so then for every up, there's a down. It's a commutator, so it only moves the pieces that you want it to move. If you've already done whatever you're working on, whether it's the first piece or the last piece, it's going to be done the same way. So yellow and white are left and right. Here's a yellow. Corners match the front. It's going in the yellow direction, so away, first up, back, second up, away, first down, back, second down. Here's another one. And we just do that for as long as there's a yellow or white anywhere in the middle. We just throw them in the direction where they would go. They'll displace whatever's not supposed to be there. And whenever there's no more yellows in the middle areas, then you just look to see whether the edges are correct or whether there are some that are still misplaced. And if there is, you just throw a garbage piece into whatever is incorrect, and that brings it to the middle where we can place it. Let's keep going. So yellow and white are left and right. Here's a white. So yellow and white are left and right. I bring the corners to match the front. I determine its direction and move it away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Here's another piece. Put my active color on top. Bring the corners to match the front. It's going in the white direction, so away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. And it doesn't matter which cube you're working on, they're all done the same way. Yellow and white are left and right, as dictated by the corners. Here's a yellow or white in the middle area. Move the corners to match the front. It's going in the yellow direction, so away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. And just for as long as there is a yellow or white in the middle, we're just doing that. So bring the corners to match the front. Going in that direction, away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. And it's whatever cube you have, it's the same thing. What is my personal best? I do know what PB is, my personal best. I am Not very fast. I can solve the 3x3 in about a minute and a half. My personal best, since I've started timing myself, is a minute 21. Not very fast, but my personal best. But I can teach the cube. I can teach this method to a non-cuber in about an hour, between an hour and a half to 2 hours, and then they can walk away solving whatever cube they find in whatever state of cube they find it in. They can just solve it and solve it. So because A and B is all you need to know, and they can just take a picture of my A and B with their phone. I'm gonna have merchandise made up. I'm gonna have it put on a keychain. I'm also I'm making a poster and some cheat sheet things. But when you use my method, it works on every size cube, and it's not a speed cube. It's not fewest moves, but it can help a beginner, because if you do want to learn algorithms and which algorithms are fastest, which algorithms, it helps to be able to see what the algorithm does. And so if you can do the algorithm from a solved cube rather than from a scrambled cube, it's easier to see exactly what that algorithm does and what all the side effects of it are. And so while you're learning your speed method, if you can use this to reset your cube and practice again. So it does do that. Also once you've I took this like an autistic kid that had no interest in doing the cube because he thought he couldn't do it, and I put the cube in his hand, made some drawings on a napkin, and said, "Here, do this, do that, do this, do that," and he was able to see, "Hey, I can do this. This is cool." And then he went over the course of the next couple of weeks. He became a speed cuber and left me in the dust. But this method lets you solve any cube, and then you can use that to practice your algorithms if you want to. So again, the 2x2 is solved. Again, yellow and white are left and right. Find a yellow or white. Yellow and white are left and right. Line up the edge, the corners to the front. Determine its direction. Away up, in up, away down, in down. Whenever anybody asks me what my personal best is, I usually ask them. I haven't learned finger tricks. I've been doing the cube since it came out in the 80s, and the muscle memory that I learned was it takes two hands to make each turn. So I would love to have someone who is a speed cuber become conversant in this method, and then tell me, using my method, but also mirrors, reverses, parallels, things like that, to be able to tell me how fast can a speed cuber do my method would be much more impressive to me than my minute and a half. I'm not really good I'm not fast, but A and B is all you need to solve every cube, including, it's not just for the 3x3. The same formula works on every size cube, and you don't even have to memorize any algorithms, including parity algorithms, because the parity can be undone with just a quarter turn. So you don't to put it into a solvable state. So you don't. It's not fastest, but it's, in my opinion, the simplest. So moving on, here's a yellow and white are left and right. Here's a white piece in the middle somewhere. Its corners match the front already. It's moving in the white direction. It's this way. So I move it away, first up, back, second up, away, first down, back, second down. Interesting how cool. Ooh, 18.98 seconds. Average 30 to 35. I was there when the first world record was set. Not I was there in my living room because it was broadcast on TV, and the first world record was 23 point something seconds, if I remember correctly. So anyone who's under 20 seconds has beat the first world the very first world record. So so that's cool. Line up the corners up to the front. Color. It's going in the yellow direction, away up, in, up, away down, in, down. The first world record holder, or at least the United States, I don't know if it was the whole world at the time that he said it was just the United States. But Jeffrey Verasano, go look him up. He has YouTube. He's not active on it, but he's got, oh man, you can see how his brain works. His brain is brilliant to watch. And he works in a pizzeria, and he runs a pizzeria now. Away up, in, up, away down, in, down. But I'm Facebook friends with him. But he still plays with the cube. Kids will bring in the cube to him, to his pizza place, and he'll match their cubes. Because that's a fun thing to do, and he'll play with them with the cubes. So if you have not seen him, go look him up. He's very definitely worth that. Okay, so to do one with yellow and white. Here's another yellow and white. White's on top. Bring the corners to match the front color. They're going in this direction, so away up, in, up, away down, in, down. And now if you look, the yellow and white, if there's no more yellow or white edges in the middle, you look to see if the opposite edges are correct, and they either will be or they won't be. If, for example, if this one was flipped, or if this was a yellow and this was a white, all you would do is place a garbage piece into where the wrong piece is to move it out, and then use your Formula B to place it correctly. So we're doing opposite edges. So continuing on. How long have you been, so your personal best is under 20 seconds. You average about half a minute or so. How long have you been playing with the cube? How long have you been cubing? People get mad when I call the cube a toy, but it is a toy. Cue Woody talking to Buzz Lightyear. You are a toy. Bring the corners to match the front color. I can treat this as one for now. I might have to separate that later, but I can treat this one for now. So away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. I know this is the different order of operations from what most people do, because you've been taught centers first and then the edges. The reason why you've been taught this is because when the 3x3 was all there was, the center was the one piece that could not move, and so you would build around the center rather than trying to place the center as you were working. Speaking of placing the center as I'm working, so this white wants to be up there. I could have placed this before I did the edges, but I didn't do it so I could demonstrate how Formula A will place it if you already have something done. So I'm dealing with the blue side with the white color. Here's the white color, and it has red, so I'm going to look at the red side. So these are the three colors that I'm working with. Okay, so let's flip it and work with these three. So my yellow, these three colors, my yellow wants to go up here. I'm going to move the yellow away from where it wants to be. I'm going to move the space down. I'm going to move the yellow back into the space, and the space and the cube back up again. And that's how that's how from a solved cube, if you do that, you get boxes. From boxes, if you do that, you get there. So opposite edges are done. And let's move on this way. So again, yellow and white are left and right. Bring the corners to match the front colors. If you bring your corners together, they're together for the rest of solving the cube. And then it's going in the yellow direction, so this way. So away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. So as you notice, the arrows of A and B represent the one slice that you're working on, and the line represents everything else, because you're only really moving one piece. You're only moving three pieces at a time. Ever. Okay, switch the cube so that my color's on top. Yellow and white are still left and right. Bring the corners to match the front color. Lather, rinse, repeat. We go away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. For as long as there is a yellow or white in the middle to be placed. Okay, going in the red direction. Its corners are matched. It's going in the yellow direction. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. The most complicated thing you're doing is 8 moves, and those 8 moves are a mathematical 0. So, and since you're doing it so often, it's easy to remember, and it's all you have to remember. So, it's going in the white direction, so this way. So, away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Let me demonstrate. Let's assume that I don't have any more colors, any more yellow or white in the middle. And when I look at my sides, they're not correct because something is misplaced. So I'm going to apply Formula B to this cube, and by placing one of these there, it'll move this out to the middle where I can work on it. So away, up, in, this is my second up. So that's the cube I want to displace. Away, down, in, down, and then that gives me, it's here in the middle where I can work on it. Line the corners to the front. It's going in the yellow direction. Up, up, down, down, and more of the same. So parodies, I'll talk about parodies tomorrow, but briefly, parodies are fun. Here's a parody story with Jeffrey Verasano. Jeffrey was he. If you're a cubist and you're friends with Jeffrey Verasano, evidently he will send you a link to his Dropbox that has all of his cube images and things. You can watch how he, for example, when the 2x2 came out, when the 4x4 came out, he was, because he was the world record holder, he was invited to the conference, the convention where it came out, and they gave him the cube to play with, and as he went through his day, and he played with it until he realized, oh, there's something that happens on the 4x4 that doesn't happen on the 3x3. How interesting. How do I solve that? And then as soon as he'd established that there's something he needs to figure out how to solve, they said, okay, convention's over, give us the cube back, hope you had fun. And left him, so he went home with that unsolved in his head. And so when that happened to me, when I had a 3x3 that I was in the middle of solving, and one of the pieces broke and I couldn't fix it, I went for way too long with an unsolved problem in my head, not knowing how to fix it because I didn't have the cube in my hand. Not Mr. Verasano, not Jeffrey. He went home and got out graph paper and colored pencils, and he mapped out what the difference was, and then he mapped out how to solve it without the cube in his hand, just with colored pencils and graph paper. And it actually only takes him 10 moves to create or uncreate the parody. So if your algorithm is longer than that, you can learn how he did it. But so he wrote another book. He'd written the book for the 3x3 once he was the world champion. This is one of them. Jeff conquers the cube in 45 seconds, and you can too. So when the 4x4 came out, he wrote another book to update his book and show how the parody can be undone, but can be solved. And his publisher said, no, we think the Rubik's Cube is kind of gone the way. We think it's played out. We're not going to. We don't think people will still be interested in the Rubik's Cube. It's had its heyday. So they didn't publish his book, but you can find he has it online. He has it in this Dropbox, and you can see how he did that. It was before standardized notation and everything. because there was no standardized notation. He was the first. All right, so again, yellow and white are left and right, white's on top, corners match the front color, it's going in the white direction, so away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down, and now if you Formula A can also be used for doing the edges, but only on the first color, first face. So for instance, here's my white face, and I have an edge piece that wants to go to the top, so I can just line it, put it under where it wants to be. Okay, put it under, it wants to be up here. So I move it away from the action, bring the space down, put the cube into the space, and the cube and the space back up again. You also do it for the centers as well. Move it away, bring the space down, move the piece in, put it back up again. So Formula A, you can use just Formula A to solve the first face, the first row, on just intuitively on any cube. But when you've gone past Formula A, Formula B will move any three pieces around, and you can do all of the rest. If you move, so like I said, if you move the top row outside columns, moves corners around. Top row outside and inner column moves an edge piece, and top row two inner columns moves the center pieces around. So for example, here's a white piece. Here's a white center piece. It's going to go on top, so it's going to land right here. So my first row is to put a cube that wants to come down, or is advantageous to come down, right there. So that's my first row. Then I move this piece is the one we're working on. So first up, puts that piece to the top, and then the top row has to go move this into a different column, and that is your second column, and then reverse, down, reverse, down. So it's still an up, slide up, slide up, slide down, and these do the corners, these do the edges, these do the centers, and your cube is solved. Except for if you have a parity, which I will talk about more tomorrow, unless anyone wants me to cover it right now. Okay, let me do my, all right, I'm gonna make my flag again for the 4th of July. Okay, red and white, we've got red and white stripes. And then we need the field of blue, so we bring the blue down. And there we go, happy 4th of July, everybody. I'm going to, so anyway, that's it for today. I'm gonna go feed my face. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Let's see how many people I've got here. Okay. So if you've just joined me, I am Sunshine. Bring me your non-cuber friends, and let me play with them. And in the meantime, thank you for coming and spending your morning with me, or your afternoon, or your evening, depending on where you are in the world. And I'll be back here tomorrow. I hope you guys all have fun. Stay safe. Okay? Bye. Do. Say bye. Okay, guys. Bye.